All right, thanks for joining me. Let's go through the first step in this step to launch checklist, add county administrators. We are in the admin launchpad underneath the admin dropdown on your WordPress website for your county. If you click on this option right here, or you can click on right here, users, I'm going to click up here to add county administrators, and it's going to launch us down to the users section. The first step that we need to go through to make sure that your website is ready to be launched for your county is to add any administrators that you need from your county. So let's talk about who should be an administrator on your website, and why have multiple administrators. Obviously, you're watching this video because you are an admin and you have access to this launchpad and you are going through these settings. Why add other administrators? Partially because you want to make sure that handoff is smooth across elections. So let's say if something happens to you and you aren't able or available to give access to somebody else, you want to make sure there's at least 2 or 3 people in your county that have access to the website so that the website doesn't go to shambles if you are unavailable to maintain it or to pass it off to somebody else. So some people you might want to consider adding as administrators on your website might be your chairman for your county, maybe your secretary, potentially your youth committee person if they have a propensity or an inclination to be tech savvy and manage the website on behalf of your county, or your county might have a social media / website coordinator or digital communications type of person as a role inside your county. So those are examples of some people that you may want to give access to this website. So if you click on manage website users, it'll take you to the dashboard of your WordPress website. Notice how we are in the dashboard. You have the black panel on the left. This is essentially the back end of your website. Under users, we're under on the tab called all users. So this button in the Launchpad takes us directly to the all users list in the dashboard. Notice we've got ArcFire's admin listed here. Leave us, the ArcFire's team, as administrators on your website, unless you know exactly what you're doing and you know that you will never want our help with anything from website design to website security, cleaning out malware and hacks out of your website, just anything that could go wrong or that you might want help with. This is a really easy way for us to help you out if something goes wrong, or if you want to make a change that you don't know how to make beyond the instruction that we leave you in the Launchpad. So my recommendation is leave ArcFire's admin as an administrator on your website. If you are logged in, you're also going to see your user information, but we're going to go up here to add new because we want to make sure there's some redundancy and that there are other users on your site in case something happens to you. So you'll click on add new user, and let's say we're adding someone named John Smith. Let's say this is the secretary for your secretary or treasurer or youth committee person, somebody on your committee that you want to add to the site. We need to give them a username. Now you can change the email at any time. The username cannot be changed at any point in the future. So it matters what you create this as at first. Now, some rules for creating new administrators. I'm going to strongly recommend that you do not create a user called admin. That is the first username that hackers try to guess as they are trying to take over your website. Don't use admin. If anything, do something underscore admin if you want to use admin in the username. In this case, we're going to do county underscore John Smith. You want it to be a little bit long, but you want it to be easy for them to remember. I'm saying county because we're on the county.idgop.org website. You might decide to do Valley or Oneida _ John Smith. You could just do John Smith. That's a little bit easier to guess. I'm trying to keep robots and hackers on their toes a little bit by not making it so predictable. So come up with a username, something that you are maybe making standardized. For example, you might always have your county name _ and then their full name. That way, if somebody forgets their username, it's really easy for you to remind them what it is without having to look it up. But it's also complicated for people to guess who are not administrators for the site. Anyways, whatever you decide as the username, that's going to stay. The email can be changed at any time. We'll put in a first name and last name, and then it's going to suggest a password. Now, notice how if you write something like password that is very weak, your website is probably going to get hacked, and that's going to give you some headaches. You want it to be a good rule of thumb is if you know your password, then it's probably not very secure. If you know it from memory, then you probably know it because you're using the same user or password across multiple sites. That's a really bad practice to be in. I strongly recommend having a completely different password on every website that you have an account on, so that way you never have the same email and password combination across any two sites. I strongly recommend using something like LastPass to manage your passwords so that you don't have to remember and you don't have to write it down on a sticky note you're going to lose later. Strongly recommend keeping this very long and very secure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making it 60 characters or something like that. I really think you should keep it strong, especially because there are people who would love to hack a Republican website. All right, we need to change the role to administrator, and we're going to send the new user an email about their account. Now, this is two-factor authentication. Basically, this is a security measure where you can require your users to not just type in their username and password, but also put in a code that is texted to them to prove that they really are who they say they are. That's an option that you can set up in WordFence. We'll talk about that in another video probably, but just know that username, email, and password, and then administrator. Those are the four options that have to be set up in order for you to add a new administrator to your account. And then when you click add new, that's going to send them an email and you will have added a new administrator on your account. All right, that's all for this video. Go ahead and jump over to the next video once you have completed this step.